Hello, so this is the first of 4 videos to learn a duet piece called Rondino. So by a duet I mean 2 people sat at the same piano. So you'll notice on my camera here that the middle of the piano, where the name of the piano is written, the night piano, middle C is here, just out of the camera shot down here. So everything we're going to play is going to be way up here towards the top of the piano, and the very top of the piano is only just out of sight up here. Now, in some ways, this duet is very easy because it's all in the same hand position for both hands. So that can make things easier. However, it's going to be quite zippy. There's a lot of little legato bits and lots of little staccato notes. So there's a lot of detail that needs to go in to get good marks and to make this piece really sparkle. So first of all, let's consider a few things about it. So by the way, whenever you've got a duet, it's usually a double spread. So the person playing the bottom bit plays the left-hand page. So that will be your teacher, or maybe you're lucky enough to have someone at home who can play that with you. And then the person, the candidate, the person taking the exam, that's you, will be playing the right-hand page. So when the music's up on the stand, you can both see what you need to see. Now in class, obviously we can do it on separate pianos, but the fun of a duet is you can both sit at the same piano to play it potentially. So we've got 2 sharps in the key signature, and I can very much tell you it ends on a D major chord. And, I should say that because it's a duet, the top part, both hands are in the treble clef, because the left hand is all above middle C as well. And then the right hand, it says 8VA throughout. So that D there, 1 octave above middle C, that's actually going to be another octave higher than it's written. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. So we're in D major, 2 sharps to think about. But because our hand position is going to be on these 5 notes, you'll only really have to think mainly about the F sharp there with that bit. So let's just learn, we're going to learn the first 8 bars. I'm going to try and learn both hands. I'm actually going to show you the chords that go with it first of all. So you've got 2 little chords here. So remember, this is treble clef here. So that's a D above middle C, D, F sharp, A, which makes a D major chord. Now this slightly strange way of writing things is just telling you that the bottom note needs to stay held while those 3 the top bits of the chord are played. So we've got this chord here, which is just a D major chord. And then we've got this one, which is not obvious what the chord is, but it's actually an A7, an A dominant 7 chord, but it's only got 3 of the notes in the chord. So you've got an E, a G, and an A. Let me just show you what that is. So here's the D major. So remember, there's middle C down here. So you come right up, C above, and you need a D major chord here. And we're counting in 2, so we've got, it's going 1 and 2, and so it's 1 and 2, and like that. Notice I'm keeping that little finger held on the D. So you go D, and then I add 3 chords. Now important things, try not to do this. You see what I mean? Because that last chord, you're making it a little bit more held, aren't you? And of course they need to be the same. Those 3 chords are all the same. So it's D, bop, 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 D, bop, bop, bop. And then the other chord you're going to need will be, so there's the D, then you're going to need this chord. This is the A7 chord. So if I put the whole chord in, you'd have this. We call that A7. But we just got 3 of the notes out of it. You can hear they kind of go very well together. So chord 1, we call this one chord 5, and back to chord 1. So just try and move between those 2 chords. So the other chord is 1 and 2 and a 4. And when you play that, you'll go like that. Okay. Now, hopefully you can see the difference between the chords as you go along. So there's the D chord. Do 2 bars of that. Then there's the other chord. Then you go back to your D chord, D chord, D chord. On to the next line, the other chord. And then just 3 D major chords with a little quaver rest at the end. So it'll be like... So this is how it goes. So 2 of those, 1 of the others, and back. 2 more of those, 1 more, the other one, and then 3 D major chords. Okay, so you can pause this video if you want, go back on that, just get your hands around that. Now the right hand is written with the thumb on the same note there, but it's not the same note because it's going to be 8VA throughout. So this little bit here you're going to find yourselves up here. Now, if you just look carefully at the notes, remember any Fs are going to be F sharps. And just try and read, it's fairly easy to memorize this, but really try and work off your music and just ask yourself, when a note's repeating, when are you moving up and down in what I call steps? So a step is when you go up to the next note. So for instance, if that D is on a line, the E will be on a space, then the F sharp will be on a line, that will be on a space, and then that will be on a line. So if you suddenly see things going line, line, line going down, you know that you're skipping, going in thirds, okay? Or if you see something on a space, that note's on a space. If you see another next space up, you know you're missing out the note in between. And working in that way, you can work out an awful lot of this without having to note name your way through. So I'm just going to play the right hand part slowly to this little tune. So you can just learn what I'm going to play to you, but I really suggest you try and work very carefully off your music as you play, so that you're doing more than just learning the notes, you're also reinforcing your reading as you go along by following it through. So the first bit goes. That's it, basically. So there's a few things going on. You've got some staccato notes with dots over. You've got, so like at the beginning, you've got some slurred notes like those three. Then the next bit, slurs going into staccato. And then an accent, which is like the little like an arrowhead, okay? Now the arrowhead, the accent, you emphasize that note. Now don't go crazy, it's marked piano, so it's quiet. So if you get an accented note, I'd suggest that note would be maybe mezzo piano rather than piano, just for that one note. Something like this. See what I mean? I'm not going mad. Okay, now we need to place that over our chords on the left hand. So a good way to do that would be just to play the chord to begin with and go something like this. Then the other chord. So you get the idea. Now, so again, you can pause the video, check you can do that with the chords changing in the right place. But the final version is actually going to go like this. And there you have it. So you might want to watch that a few times, or just see if you can figure it out off the music. As I say, you only have these 5 notes here, same 5 notes here in 2 different positions, in 2 different shapes. That shape and that shape, and that's all you've got.